Hello, beautiful souls and friends and family all over the world. Welcome to April. Happy new moon in Aries and happy Aries season. Wow, thank you so much for being so patient with me. I had an entire week off after my 40th birthday. My solar return was on March 20th at the Aries ingress. I was born 00 degrees of Aries, and I really wanted to take a break, but I definitely wanted to film that full moon in Virgo video, but I was having some interesting Uranus 6th house action going on with my system, and I just really thank all of you for checking in on me and making sure I was okay. After 3 years of being in a pandemic, or panini as I like to say, I have not gotten sick once. I've taken care of my health so well. I have really taken care of my health, and then in the last couple of months I've just been pushing myself and not taking breaks and not taking enough rest time. And my system, my adrenals, my nervous system was just overloaded, and I had a UTI for the first time. And not for the sexy reasons why you get a UTI, if you know what I mean, but just from stress and not taking care of my body and not hydrating enough. And it was shocking to me. And I know UTIs are common, and I know a lot of you who get them are probably like, Laura, what's the big deal? But it was a big deal for me because I never get sick. I've never been to the hospital. I've never had like body things except for like, you know, those random rashes you get once in a while. But I realized like when you don't have health, when you don't feel well, you really don't have anything. Like health is wealth. And so the North Node in Taurus and Uranus are in my 6th house of health and daily habits. And I'm just first and foremost going to take better care of my mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical health, because I can't sustain everything that I'm doing going 100 miles per hour all the time. And I just realized like all the work that I'm doing in terms of doing videos like this for all of you, the 2 podcasts that I host, including all of my client appointments and channeling. It was draining me so much that I didn't realize that I just needed a week to do nothing. And by nothing, I literally mean like I did not do anything. I slept, I took naps, I slept in. I watched a lot of TV shows and movies that I'll talk about because everything I watched was so good. I mean, there was one movie that I saw that was like, but it was just exactly what I needed to start Aries season off right. And also this new moon in Aries, which is technically the beginning of the astrological new year. So thank you again so much. I am doing so much better. I was on antibiotics for 1 week, and that's why I couldn't drink on my birthday, but it was such a beautiful birthday. I had it here in my hometown with a bunch of friends and family. And if you follow me on Instagram and TikTok, you probably saw some photos, but it was special because it was exactly what I wanted as a moon and Venus in Aquarius. I don't care for fancy things. I don't care for material things. I just want to be around my friends and community that see me and witness me and just have fun with a group of friends. So it was perfect. And it just gave me this huge sense of what's important in my life and how I want to call in the new energies for this next astrological new year, 2022 to 2023. And I've been doing a lot of my own solar return charts and my yearly perfections and electional charts, and just getting really into astrology at a more deeper level. And I'm committing myself with Saturn in my 3rd house in Aquarius. I'm committing myself deeper into learning more about astrology, but also, since it's an Aquarius, like taking the, I guess, like classical interpretations of astrology, but using my own experience and my own modern interpretations of it. And if you follow me on Instagram and TikTok, you see that I do give reverence to Hellenistic and classical astrology, but at the same time, these systems have to be relevant for what we're going on with today, which is all about collective liberation and all of us just becoming more and more free. With that being said, before I get into the video, I have a few announcements. Yay! So I'm filming this on Mercury Wednesdays, March 30th, and I'm about 2 days out from the new moon in Aries, but you'll probably be watching this in the beams of the new moon in Aries. And I wanted to relaunch my website. So back in 2010, so 12 years ago, this whole Jupiter cycle that was transiting my 4th house of Pisces, I started a blog. And it was called Miss Buttercup at the time. And I just started working at a very prestigious private equity firm in New York City, making money. And I had money for the first time to go out to eat in New York City and travel. So it was very much a blog about discovering my smaller community in New York City. Not that that's small, right? There's like 9 million people living in New York City, but going out to eat, making recipes, it was very focused on food. And then once I started making more money, it then transitioned into travel and food, because I was able to move about a little bit more Jupiter, right? And then I think it was sometime in 2014, I rebranded it to Kumi Dreams, and Kumi is my Korean name. And I wanted to reclaim parts of myself that I had lost. So Kumi Dreams is very much like the parts of my identity that I've kind of hidden away, my Korean American experience, and also just being a first-generation daughter of immigrants and choosing something different for herself. And that 2014 was a very pivotal year for me. That was also when Venus was in Capricorn retrograde, and that was the first time that I was able to get an apartment in New York City by myself. And it was in this dreamy West Village apartment, and in very much in theme with Venus and Capricorn, right? And then I would say sometime between 2019 to 20, I was thinking about rebranding again, because I had started this spiritual website, Awaken and Align, and I felt like the two were similar, but not really integrating as much, because Kumi Dreams was at a time in my life when I wanted to be like Anthony Bourdain. I wanted to be like the female version of him, traveling the world, taking photographs, writing about culture and food and society and people. And God bless Anthony Bourdain. I actually got to meet him in person, which I just, yeah, this one of those like pinch me moments in life. But he was very much a role model for me, because I read his book Kitchen Confidential. I don't know if you know his story, but he was basically broke and working in the kitchens, and he just decided to write the truth about what it was like to work in the restaurant business. And then the rest was history. Then he got his show, No Reservations, and then after that, he had a show on CNN, and I watched every single episode. And what I loved about Anthony Bourdain was he humbled himself to the culture that he was being guested in by, you know, not being the authority on the food, but making the voice, passing the mic onto the locals, and really focusing on the people and the culture and the food that it came from. Like, he wasn't one of those chefs where they would come in and try to make the dish, but make it to their own palate and, you know, focus all the attention on him. He was very much an advocate for people. That's what I loved about Anthony Bourdain. And another thing is, like, I just loved his New Yorkness. He was so frank, he was so direct, he was no bullshit, and I really appreciate that about him. But I felt that on my spiritual journey, which I consider just our mere existence here a spiritual journey in itself, we just have more awareness on where we are on it, that it was just starting to transition into a different thing. And so for like 3 years, I didn't have a website of my own. Everything got referred back to Awaken and Align because I was still kind of trying to figure out like what I was doing, who I am, why am I here? And for a long time I didn't know. And I think the message for this new moon in Aries and just Aries season in general is just knowing who you are and where you're meant to go without really knowing. Because Aries is a very instinctual sign. You just know it deep in your core, in your bones, without having to fully understand where you're going, the path, the plan. And I would have to say, if you are an Aries sun, moon, rising, or you have a stellium or any placements in Aries, that part of you, wherever it is in your chart, whatever house it's in, you just know. It's like you don't even need to see the evidence of it. There's just like an innate knowing there, and you know for a fact that it's going to work out no matter what. And that really is the main message of this new moon in Aries. And it's just, April in general is a huge, huge energetic shift, life-changing month. And again, I'm ruled by Jupiter, so I'm just always on the side of the glass is half full, optimistic, and I believe that there are obstacles and challenges in our life for a reason, for us to, you know, some things like you can't explain, some weird shit like war. I'm just like, what? Like, why do we need that anymore? But it's not up to me to criticize the divine's plan. I can't say to the universe, why are you doing this? You know, I just have to go with the flow as much as possible and do and focus on my own thing. So that was all to say, oh my gosh, I'm so long-winded, Mercury in Pisces. That was all to say that my rebranded website is finally live. It's laurakchung.com. Laura K. Chung is my official, like on my birth certificate, on my passport. That's my name, Laura K. Chung. K stands for Kumi, but it's just my name and I'm not hiding anymore. It's just, I am my own brand. I am my own niche, and everything that I have experienced in the last 40 years, all of the things that I've studied, all of my life experiences have given me this ability to create a unique offering that is ever evolving, ever changing based on the needs of you, the collective who are watching me and who resonate with me and who resonate with my story and what I have to offer. So I have 3 offerings. The first one is traditional Reiki healing session over Zoom. And then the clarity readings combine astrology, Akashic records, and tarot and divination, kind of like what I'm doing for you here. And then I have a new offering, which I'm super excited about, which is called Energetic Alchemy. And it's a 1-hour magic spell work ritual based on what you're calling in. So basically, I look at your natal chart, I look at your energies, I look at the transits and what's going on. We talk about what you want to clear away. We do an energy healing session to clear out stagnant energy. And then based on what you want to call in, I'll recommend crystals, herbs. You know, we've done candle gazing before in our moon circles. We've done burning rituals. We've done drawing. We've done art therapy, movement. Like, there's just so many different modalities to bring into the calling in process. And then an energetic attunement based on the planets to solidify your intention. And I have seen, just from my own personal experience and the people in my circle, the moon circles, that this shit works. It's like, again, energetic alchemy. When you work with your energies and the planetary movements and flow with them and being open to the possibilities, because energy, you can understand the weather, energetic weather, but how it shows up, like how it manifests into the physical reality is really a mystery. And being open to that mystery is the key to life. So that is my new offering. It's 1 hour over Zoom. It's called Energetic Alchemy. It's completely bespoke. It's based on your own astrological chart and your soul print and your soul's destiny. But that's all available on laurakchung.com. Awaken and Align podcast is coming back on next week. And the Work podcast is coming back in a month from now, so May. So yeah, I had to take a little break because there's a lot coming up and there's even more coming up. And it's very much in alignment with the Yang water tiger of this year in Chinese astrology. Like, you take a lot of action at once, but then you take a lot of time to rest. Take a lot of action, rest. And how I've been kind of planning forward, which, man, Saturn, I'm studying Saturn in depth right now, and Saturn really did a number on me. Saturn has been teaching me so much about diligence, responsibility, structure, and planning ahead for the future. And this is the first time in my life where I've been able to sit down and look at the calendar, like a 12-month calendar, and you know, Saturn rules time, and really plan out like when I'm gonna work a lot and then when I'm gonna take large chunks of breaks. And I'm kind of working that around like the retrograde season. So right now, all the planets are moving forward. It's Aries season, it's cardinal fire. So now is the time to take action. And then once Mercury goes retrograde in May and the planets all start going retrograde, that's more of a time to go within and allow the tide to come in. So that's kind of how I've been like timing when to take rest and when to not, but also just listening to my body. And when I feel tired, I'm just gonna, you know, I'm tired. And even this video, I wanted to do that earlier, but there were other things that needed to take precedence, except for my taxes. Of course I have to do that, but I'm like, I would rather do this new moon in Aries video than my taxes. So, yeah, I like Saturn, like, is such an interesting planet, and I'm really learning about Saturn. I think I've avoided Saturn since my Saturn return, and I really got hit hard with Saturn during my nodal return, which was 2018 to 2020, because Saturn rules my south node, and Saturn was on my moon for a hot second, and then my Venus, and I've just been getting pounded and pounded and pounded. And now that Saturn is kind of moving away and it's trine my natal Saturn, I have a pretty strong Saturn in my chart. Saturn is exalted in the sign of Libra, and I have Saturn in Libra, and so she's pretty strong up there. And she delays things and says, no, Laura, you got to take into consideration other things, which might be good, because my sun in Aries is super exalted and it's super powerful. So I need something to, like, I need checks and balances, you know? So the last thing I'll say is, if you want to go deeper, if you want to be a part of a community, you can always join our bi-monthly moon circles via Patreon. It's a great way to support me and my work. It's $20 per month. You get 2 circles, which are 90 minutes each. That's $10 per 90-minute circle. I used to charge $40 for just 1 circle back in 2020. So it's pretty, I try to make it as affordable as possible. And it's pretty much like that bespoke energetic alchemy offering that I just mentioned. We look at the transits, we look at the moon, but also the other celestial bodies. We do rituals, we do spells. Sometimes we just talk because that's what we want. Sometimes we pull cards, sometimes we channel for each other. Just a really great way to actually feel the energies and embody the energies. And like, if you're interested in astrology and the lunations, it's just a great way to meet other people who are interested in the same thing. So that's available. And then obviously, like I said, I have 2 podcasts that are free 99. My TikTok and Instagram are free 99. And I try to keep it pretty balanced between what's free, what's affordable, and then when you can work with me one-on-one, when and if you have the funds to do that. So with that being said, this is the Aries new moon. It's happening for us on the East Coast at April 1st, 2:24 a.m. Eastern time. Please adjust for your time zone. And the reason why I like that it's on April 1st, because it's a 1 day. It's the first day of April. April is the 4th month of the year. It's the first day of the month, and it's a 6 year, which is an 11 day, and it's 11 degrees of the moon and the sun. The moon, it's making its way into alignment with the sun. That's what happens with a new moon. And the number 11 is such a powerful number. First of all, ones are, it's an opportunity from spirit. It's a potential. You have to do something with that potential though. You can't just like, this is what I was telling my mom, you can't just sit back and sit on the couch and eat potato chips. Like, you need to do something about it. Like, Aries is a cardinal energy. It's initiatory. Like, you have to take the reins of your own destiny. And there is such thing as fate, and there is such thing as destiny. But sometimes I like to say it's, you want to be in the right energy, in the right place, and you want to do as much as you can within your own control to help spirit and help the law of synchronicity out. You just don't want to like take a back seat to your dreams, you know? And again, if you're an Aries sun, Aries moon, Aries rising, you know, like, that's just innately, at least that's always been me. Like, I've always just taken action on things because I know that if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but at least I know. And also, I don't know. That's just me. I don't know any other way of being, of just not taking action. Sure, there are times when I'm afraid. Sure, I'm afraid of rejection sometimes, but it's like that fire in my belly, and that like, I'm just gonna do it and think later is just a part of my being. So I don't know how to be any other way. But that's kind of the feeling with Aries, is like, you just do it and you figure it out along the way, and you just trust spirit so much that you know that like when you leap, the net will appear. So other things happening around this new moon, because obviously lunations don't happen in a vacuum. The sun and the moon will be conjunct to Chiron and Aries, and Mercury will also be there at this lunation. And for me, I think you know how I feel about Chiron, and I'm going to dedicate a whole separate video on Chiron. Chiron is actually my favorite celestial body. It's an asteroid, and it orbits between Saturn and Uranus. So it's like these wounds that we've taken on from our ancestry, from our past, that we are trying to heal in order for us to move forward. And I love that quote by Rumi that says, "The wound is where the light enters you." And that's why I love Chiron, because Chiron was immortal and had this wound. He was shot by an arrow by, shit, now I forgot, but he had this wound that was extremely painful, but he was immortal, so he begged to be killed. But he channeled that wound, he channeled that pain into being a teacher, a mentor, an herbalist, an astrologist, and really was of service to other people. And I just find that to be so significant. So like, look at where you have your natal Chiron, which is your inner wounding that you are trying to alchemize to be of service to other people, and also where transit Chiron and Aries is in your personal chart. So Chiron and Aries is really about having agency over your own life, being your own warrior, your own leader, and taking the reins on your own healing journey. Mercury being there in Aries too is like being your own hero, like your own hero's journey, and being the main character of your energy and main character of your life. And this new moon is potential. It's 11. It's an 11 day with 11 degrees of the moon and the sun meeting in Aries. So there's so much potential behind this new moon that it's like, make sure when this new moon is happening, I'm gonna try to stay up. I'm gonna try to stay up, or at least wake up for this little portal. Try to be in that energy of like what it is that you need to do to like get yourself that fire to like move forward. And the moon and the sun are being ruled by Mars, and Mars is all about severing ties from your past. It's cutting off from that which does not serve you. So it's very much this like, and if you look at the number 11, it is like a gateway. It's a portal. You're walking through a different pathway towards your future and saying goodbye to your past. But the past can be so seductive because it is, some people would rather stay in the comforts of the past than move towards the unknown future. Because when you are moving towards the future, and I wrote this down in my journal, which I just wanted to share with you, you don't know because you've never been there before. And so people get all intellectual in their head, like, oh my God, you know, they get all fearful. And by the way, I'm including myself in this conversation. But you can intellectualize it all you want. But again, Aries is a primal energy. You just do it because you just know. You just do it because you trust. And the downfall, though, is that you will keep getting pulled by the comforts of your past. So just know going into this portal that you're not going to know. You're just not. You're just not going to know the steps or the plan, but you plant the seed. New moons are planting seeds and intentions. You plant the seed knowing that one day it's going to bloom into something different. Last year on the Aries new moon, man, I wrote down so many intentions. Last year was the year that I really felt like I got a handle on. So my North Node is in Cancer, and Cancer is the sign of rituals because it's ruled by the moon and it's in my 8th house. And I really got into rituals and like planting seeds and focusing on the cycles of the moon. And man, I manifested like a lot of stuff last year. A lot of things that I didn't even realize that I had planted seeds for a long time ago, but they were just ready to sprout last year for whatever reason. And I'm just telling you, like, I have so many case studies now with my Moon Circle members and also people around me that have shared their stories with me that this shit is real. And I wouldn't be writing a book about manifestation if I didn't believe it was real. Because I think, you know, when we're so aware of all the dreariness and all the shit that's going on in the world, we can just be like, what's the point? This world is gonna, you know, we're all gonna kill each other from war and, you know, climate change. But I will have to say that we're at a tipping point and we can turn this whole ship around if we all had an individual intention for ourselves and in a collective intention to make this world a better place. So let me see if there's anything else you need to know. So then Mars is moving towards Saturn, and it's going to make its conjunction on April 4th. Look out for that day. Mars and Saturn are considered malefics in Hellenistic astrology. I have a Mars-Saturn conjunction in my natal chart, so it's like sometimes you want to, Mars is like, let's go, let's go, let's go. But Saturn's like, wait a minute, hold your horses. And then on April 5th, Venus will enter its exalted sign of Pisces. And that's just going to be so lovely. Ugh. When Venus is in Pisces, I'm just going to be like, ah. So I think next week with Venus in Pisces and Mars moving away from Saturn, it's just going to feel a little bit more looser. And then we're going to have our first solar eclipse on April 30th in Taurus. And I'm going to talk more about that in the coming weeks because I think that is just going to be like, hello, this is like the portal we're entering into. When it was May of 2020, when we had our first eclipse in Sagittarius, I believe, that was like the 18-month mystery school on Gemini and Sagittarius. And now we're entering a new portal of Taurus and Scorpio starting on April 30th. And I'm interested in seeing what lessons that brought, because I'm still integrating the last Gemini Sagittarius axes that I'm still like, oh, I can't believe all that happened. Okay, so I think we're at that time now. I've been speaking for 30 minutes straight. Oh my gosh. Where, let's see if I said everything I wanted to say. Yeah. Where we're going to go through each of the rising signs, and I'm feeling really good, energized. So I'm definitely going to do all of the rising signs, starting with Aries rising, obviously. And yeah, take what resonates, leave what does not resonate. This is not a personal reading. This is a general reading that I'm reading for the collective. If you want a personal reading and a personal session with me, all of the links are down in my description box, where I can look at your personal charts and really get an understanding of your own life. These are just general readings. Not that any of you take it personally, but it is general, so there's only so much that I can channel and so much that I can say. But anyway, meet me at your rising sign, and thank you so much for watching. Bye! Hi Aries rising. This new moon is happening in your first house. So you have a pretty stacked stellium in your first house right now. So you have Mercury, the sun, the moon, obviously with the new moon, and then Chiron in your first house. And Mars rules over your first and eighth house of transformation. The ruler of this and your ruler of your chart is Mars. And Mars right now is transiting in Aquarius in your 11th house. Saturn is there as well. So you could have been feeling like some long-term goals or wishes or plans have been kind of, I would say, taking a little bit of long time. And I think a lot of people know how this feels when you're like manifesting something or when you're calling something in. But Saturn is meant to be in the 11th house, which is naturally ruled by Aquarius. So I think that this long-term wish or goal of yours is forcing you to put a little bit more effort and double down on what it is that you need to do. Now, Chiron being in your first house, and it's an asteroid, so it's going to be there for a hot minute, is really asking you to be the inner warrior, the leader that you're meant to be, Aries rising. You're meant to embody this world in a very, you know, like Mars is usually, in a malefic sense, the planet of war. It's a separating quality. But what I like to think about Aries and being ruled by Mars is that, yes, you have to separate yourself from your family, from your kin, from your community to establish who you are. It's very much the hero's journey. The hero's journey is a storytelling arc in every movie, in every book, where the hero or the heroine leaves their home, their safe place, to set out into the world to try to find oneself, and realizing that the external journey was really just an allegory of the inner journey of finding oneself, when you already know really who you are. You just have to remember. So this new moon is like a new start for you to really like look deep within yourself, to remember who you are. You're meant to be a leader. You're meant to be an initiator. You're meant to shine as the leader that you are. You're a cardinal fire sign, and you're an Aries rising. Like, you embody, people look to you and they're like, leader, you know. And people ruled by Mars are really great athletes, people who are really good at sports, people who are just really, really competitive maybe. I know I'm competitive and I'm an Aries sun, but anyway, I just feel like this is a very important time for you specifically to just look internally and ask yourself, like, what is it that you need to let go of from the past? It's holding you back from showing up as the Aries person that you were always meant to be. So let's see what, so I'm using this deck that I got for my birthday from a Moon Circle member. Her name is Ina. Ina, if you're watching this, thank you. I love this deck. It's Tarot of the Divine deck, and I love it because it's so Sagittarian in nature, and it's inspired by deities, folklore, and fairy tales from all around the world. And I love it. And this is the Moon card, which I absolutely love, but that's the deck that I'm working with. I forgot to state that in the intro, so let's see. And you want to look at your ascendant if it's in and around 11 degrees, because that will like definitely affect you. It's going to affect you regardless, but it's like, when I like to think of new moons, it's like you're planting a seed without being able to see, because it's a dark moon, but you take action steps little by little as you go, as the moon starts to grow. Okay, so Aries rising. So as an Aries rising, you are ruled by Mars, so you want to pay attention to whatever Mars is doing, because it's going to affect you. And Aries is also the sign of independence, directness, someone who's self-assured. Ooh, okay, too many cards. Let's see. Okay, the Death. Wow, what was I saying about the 8th house? Yeah, you're going through some kind of transformation, transmutation. You're letting go of something from your past. You're letting go of, and letting go, by the way, is not easy. Like I was saying in the beginning, you're going to get pulled by the creature comforts of the past, because the past is known. You know how to do the past. All of us do. But to let those experiences be just experiences and extracting the wisdom from it and then transmuting whatever needs to be transmuted is a very, very difficult process. And so you also have a co-ruler to Scorpio, because Scorpio also is ruled by Mars. And this is a Scorpio card. It's the number 13. This is a really, really auspicious card of like endings and new beginnings. It's very new moon. So I think what Spirit is asking you is, because you have Jupiter, Neptune, and Venus is going to head into your 12th house of spirituality, maybe doing some kind of spiritual work to release some heaviness from your Pisces house, your past, doing some kind of energetic cleanse. You know, you're ruled by Mars, so doing some kind of exercise, running, allowing the energy to move through you versus holding on, because the South Node right now is in Scorpio in your 8th house. And so we have to release the trauma and the wounds that are dragging us down. And when we are able to face those scorpionic things, it gives us more space to feel more free and more liberated, and we're not defined by our past, we're not defined by our wounds, but they become a part of our story. The Death. So Aries rising, that was intense, but I mean, Chiron transiting your 1st house is an intense thing, but look up the mythology behind Chiron, and also if you have Chiron and Aries, do even more research about what that means for you. But really, it's having agency over your life. Happy new moon. Bye. Hi, Taurus rising. Happy new moon in Aries. Aries is your 12th house. it's interesting to have Aries in the 12th house, I think, because Aries is a cardinal fire sign. It's all about like casting yourself away to your hero's journey and taking action. But the 12th house is very, it's a house of meditation, of silence, of spirituality, of being secluded, of being by oneself. And so maybe in this new moon in Aries with Chiron and Mercury being there, maybe you're going to do some kind of healing that you've never tried before, or you're going to start your spiritual journey or the esoteric arts, or maybe you want to get into because what I find interesting too is that your first house, obviously being a Taurus rising, you have the North Node there, you have Uranus there, and you're gonna have your first solar eclipse in your first house. And there's going to be a huge change for you in the next 18 months. And if you've watched my videos for the last 2 years, I had my South Node in my first house for the last 18 years, and everything about my life has completely changed for the better. I have to say, for the better. But at the time, I didn't quite know how it would manifest. You can always like understand the energies and what could happen, but you never know how it will come about until, I wouldn't even say while you're going through it, but like even a little bit after the fact, because then you could have hindsight and see like what has happened. And so I think when you're going through this huge life change, because this is the next 18 months is the change for fixed signs. And fixed signs are fixed. They don't want to necessarily budge. They're not really meant to. So in this transition, you're gonna maybe be into spirituality as a way to ease the reality of your situation and how much it's changing. And for you, you're gonna have to let me know in how that manifests, but it's in your 1st and 7th house. So a lot of your self-identification is going to change, and how you move through this world is going to change. Your own perceptions of yourself are going to change, and in such a drastic way, because Uranus is the planet of awakening. And the solar eclipse happening on April 30th, not to like go so far ahead of myself, but I think this new moon is really like the precursor to get you to understand like what is maybe going to help you in moving and navigating through the eclipse season is this quest for spirituality and understanding self. Aries is I am. It's the first sign of the zodiac. So in order to mitigate a lot of the life changes that you're going to be going through, I would recommend doing a lot of and however it resonates with you, because not everybody likes to just sit there and like meditate. Meditation can come in different kinds of forms. Some people like pruning bonsai trees. Some people like walking. Some people like exercising as a form of meditation, or listening to music, or, you know, it's Aries season. Sometimes I get my best downloads from running or exercising, like moving my body, like very Martian things. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I'm getting a download, you know? I think sitting still is very much, it's, for me anyway, I can sit still during Pisces season, not so much during a fire season. Okay, so for you, we have the 2 of Wands. That is an Aries card. And notice, if you watch the beginning, what I said about the 11, because it's an 11-degree new moon, and it's an 11-day, and look at this. They are making an 11 right here. And this card talks about, in the old Smith, Rider-Waite-Smith tarot, it talks about like leaving the empire and starting your own colony. Yes, it was very colonized. And having the belief and the faith that no matter what, you were going to build your own thing. Because Mars, again, is separation. It's like moving away from what you know to start something new. So this is very much this like auspicious sign for you that you're starting off on a new journey. You're not going to be the same as you were today, a couple months from now, even the you that was a week ago. And that's a good thing. We shouldn't always be the same. And like the 7th house where the South Node is going, transiting for you personally, is you might lose people along the way because they no longer resonate in the vibration where you're moving towards. And sometimes I feel we over romanticize things, and sometimes we deem somebody as bad because like you just don't want to be friends with them anymore, or you don't want to be in a relationship anymore. But you don't have to deem anybody bad. It just, you just don't want to be friends anymore, and you don't want to be in their energy anymore. And that's not a good or bad thing. It's just, it is what it is. It's like kind of facts, right? And so like, this is a very, very hopeful card. It's a very Aries card. And I think if there's one piece of advice for you that I could give you is just be as open as you can. And I don't know if that's necessarily a fixed earth thing, because Taurus in certain senses is like the slowest moving sign in the zodiac, but because you have to be. And also you are ruled by Venus, so doing Venusian things, pleasure, play, art, music, like all of the things that make you feel comfortable and safe and secure during this time is really going to support you for this like new venture you're going on, wherever you're going. And set yourself high, because 2 years ago when the nodes were transiting my 1st and 7th house, I definitely didn't set myself high enough, because I was just like kind of like apathetic. I was like, gosh, I just went through my nodal return. I'm finally feeling, and my Saturn is square, I'm finally feeling like I'm good in my body. And then the pandemic happened, and then, you know, and I was just like, just do whatever you want with me. I kind of like surrendered, which was a good thing, because then the things that came out of it were like better than my wildest imagination. Happy new moon, Taurus risings. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye. Hi, Gemini risings. Welcome to your new moon. Hi, how are you? So I think a lot of Gemini risings are having a very firm foundation. You just had a full moon in your 4th house of roots and family and your sense of security, and it's a very private house. And you had a new moon in your Pisces house, in your 10th house, and Jupiter is there. It's very benefic. Venus is going to enter there. So I think you're having this like renaissance of some sort in your career, your public persona. I actually have a person in my moon circle for her birthday. She's a Pisces. She wanted to have her chart read, and we did a whole shebang reading. And I said, you know, at the new moon in Pisces, you should set your intentions on calling in a job or whatever it is that you want to call in. And we did it on 2/22, so it was February 2nd of the 22nd day of the 2/22/22, which is like a very receptive, very feminine day. And I said, she has her North Node in Pisces in the 10th house. And I said, Jupiter's there. And Mercury was there, which is the ruler of Gemini. And I said, you know, set your intentions and do this ritual. It wasn't until like, it was like less than a week later, she got like the job of her dreams. She like got this amazing job, and they, like recognized her for her Reiki, and they wanted her to do Reiki, and like she's super happy. And that's what I'm saying, like if you saw the beginning of this video, like this is why I collect anecdotal information of like setting intentions and also manifestation, because this shit really works, especially if you take action on these things. And so understanding like your ruling planet. So her ruling planet is Mercury, like you, Gemini rising. and understanding like certain aspects in the chart based on your own energy. So her having that, you know, her sharing that with me, and other Gemini rising sharing that with me, even though this is a general reading, I get a sense that your career is being lit up. Now, your new moon is in Aries in your 11th house, and the 11th house is all about long-term goals and gains and wishes fulfillment and community and the collective. So if you Gemini risings ever wanted to really be like a thought leader, a speaker, somebody who helps people in a bigger sense, right? Because the 11th house is like the collective. It's very big. It's very public. The 3rd house is more like social media in your like immediate community. This is the time to like put yourself out there. Venus is going to move into Pisces in your 10th house, which is going to just attract all of the people, all of the relationships to you, and setting your attentions on this Aries new moon is really going to be supportive, because also Mercury, your ruler, is in the 11th house in Aries, and Aries in Mercury in Aries will help you be direct in communication. Not that a Gemini rising needs help with that, because you are ruled by Mercury, but depending on where your Mercury is, like I have my Mercury in Pisces, and I could tend to be long-winded and go into like storytelling and allegories that people are just like, keep it short. So let's see, what do you have to say about Gemini rising? I mean, to have a new moon in the 11th house is very, very, very amazing. I think that's like, whatever long-term goals or wishes that you have set can really be on fire now. Okay, we got here the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And kind of like what I was saying is just being very clear on your intention. The Queen of Swords like knows what the fuck she wants. She's not going to take any prisoners. She doesn't necessarily take into consideration other people's feelings or thoughts or doubts or fears. She's just like, this is what I want. I'm cutting through the bullshit. I'm cutting to the truth. And I think this is Spirit saying to you, like, be very clear. You are ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is like everything. Mercury rules so many things in our day-to-day lives. It rules over emails, text messages, social media, commerce, business. So be very clear on what it is that you want and communicate that to the universe. And literally on the Aries new moon, you could literally just sit there with yourself, and this is what I do, is just talk. Just say it. Speaking is spell work. It's like, this is what I want, universe. I don't know how it's going to happen, but please bring to me the people who are meant for me and to help me of the highest good of all involved. So I hope that helps you, Gemini risings. Let me know what you come up with, and good luck with everything. Hi, Cancer risings. Happy new moon in Aries. Aries is happening. Aries is happening. Aries is your 10th house, so it's the highest point of your chart. You are ruled by the moon. So I think just anybody who has Cancer placements, specifically sun, moon, or rising, just are very, very affected by the phases of the moon and anything that happens with the moon. And the moon changes signs every 2.5 days. So there is a reason why they say that Cancers are always so emotional, and it's not that like you're emotionally unstable, it's just that you feel everything. And when the moon changes signs, it's like, okay, we gotta have a different energetic vibration, you know? So when the moon right now is in Pisces, it's like you're in the energy of Pisces. When the moon changes to Aries, it's like, okay, now we're in the energy of Aries. And I don't think people give Cancer placements enough credit for that, because that's just a lot of emotional and body changes, because the moon rules the body on like a very, very consistent basis. But who knows, like, this is just a part of your experience, so you're probably used to it by now. But anyway, Aries in your 10th house. This is an amazing new moon to set your sights on like how you want to be seen, how you want to be known, the legacy that you want to leave. If you have your midheaven there, just check the degrees of your midheaven. I know the midheaven goes between 11th and 9th, the 9th, 10th, and 11th houses. By the way, I should have said this in the beginning, which I always forget to do. I use the tropical whole house system. So if you use Placidus, your Aries house might go in between the 9th or the 11th. Just see what resonates with you. But overall, if you're going by the whole house system, then Aries would be your 10th house, which is amazing because if you want to like start something for the long term, because this is a long-term thing, this is not like a little project that you're going to be starting. Just find the ways in which you can release and let go of how you need to show up. Excuse me, I'm burping. Because it's a very auspicious time, and I'm just trying to see what else I see here. I mean, it's not been an easy couple years with Pluto and Capricorn, and all of the, you know, very Saturnian influences, and Pluto is opposing you. And so you've had to, in some ways, like transform, how you see yourself in relation to, I'm sure you pulled into you a lot of different kinds of relationships, but ultimately that's just to help you see more of yourself. So I sympathize with you. That Pluto transit since 2008 completely transformed my life. I mean, 15 years is a long time, but Capricorn rules my south node. So when Pluto went below my south node, oof, that was rough. Okay, and you want to check your descendant because Pluto probably crossed over your descendant degrees. So just see like where Pluto is in its last degrees of Capricorn. So if you have right now your descendant degree, which is just the opposite of your ascendant, in and around like 26 to 29 degrees, like you're definitely going through it. Okay, what do you have to say for Cancer risings for this new moon in Aries? The 8 of Swords. Here is the good, let me give you the bad news first. 8 of Swords is feeling trapped because you could see her eyes are covered by this donkey fur thing, and there's all of these swords around her, so she feels trapped. The good news is, and the bad news, is that this is of her own doing. Her or his. It looks like a her or them with long hair. Now that's good and bad because in the one hand, like you have agency and you have authority, which is very, this is giving me very Chiron and Aries vibes. Like in the one hand, you feel trapped. In the one hand, like you're like, where do I go? What do I do? But you are the answer to that. You are the answer to that question. Aries is out of all the signs of the zodiac, the one that is like, I'm going to remove myself from this harmful situation that of my own doing, of my own mind, because it's the swords. It's Jupiter and Scorpio, I believe. Oh no, Jupiter and Gemini. Indecision, not knowing what to do, being like confused by the mind, putting all these like illusions of like what I can or cannot do. And what I said in the beginning in the intro was you're going to be seduced by the comforts of your past, and you're going to want to go into this cave, right? And Cancer rules the 4th house, and the 4th house is like our base psychological foundation, like where we need to feel safe and nurtured. And if we don't feel that way, and you know, Cancer is the crab, so like you have a mushy center with a hard exoskeleton. So if you don't feel safe, you're like, you have your claws out, you know? But the worst part about this is it's of your own making. This is of your own doing. But Jupiter and Gemini is like, you know, because Jupiter expands whatever it touches, whether good or bad. So it's like once you start going down that long rabbit hole, it's like you find yourself that you can't dig yourself out. The good news is though that you have agency over your own life to combat this. You can literally say like, and maybe that's the work that's being asked of you on this new moon with Mercury and Chiron being there at this new moon, is like just examining in which ways you have to remove and release and transmute some self-limiting beliefs about what it is that you need to do to feel like the cardinal water sign that you are. Cancer rules the Chariot in tarot, which is like a very swift, very powerful, very like we're moving forward because we have our masculine and feminine, our yin and yang, our lunar and solar sides of ourselves integrated so that we can move forward with confidence. And that's the thing about this. The reason why I started doing this is because when I was going through my spiritual awakening, if you will, and going through all of this, like so much life transition and change, I was doing it very much in silence because I hadn't met yet people who were going through similar things as me. And I was very like Mars and Aries, like removing myself from people that I used to associate with. And I felt very lonely, very Eight of Swords, like very much in my own cave. And so I started my podcast, I started this channel, I started doing these readings to help give people more clarity and confidence so that they know even in these times of uncertainty, even in these times of feeling lonely, that you're not alone. That actually a lot of us feel this way, but we get out of these traps when we are honest with ourselves and also with the people that we trust that, yeah, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. I say that all the time. I say that all the time just to make it clear that like I'm setting intentions just as much as all of you are, knowing that like I could set them, but I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just taking it day by day. I'm just, you know, like I've never been here before in my life. Nobody in my family has done all the things that I've done, started podcasts, writing books, talking about spirituality, talking about social justice, talking about and being so vocal about it. It makes me feel like this Eight of Swords all the fucking time because I'm like, I'm alone, no one gets me. But then I realized like that's my role here. That's what I'm doing. I'm here to be on my own soul's path. And so the more and more you can understand yourself at a very soul level. I mean, if you are a Cancer rising, then you're here to grow. You're here to birth things. You're here to nurture yourself. You're here to, and when I say that, I think like in our capitalistic, colonial, patriarchal cap, right? People might think of that as like weaker than like a Capricorn, or weaker than like an Aries, or, you know, the masculine archetypes of the zodiac. But have you ever met a mother? Mothers are fucking fierce. They protect their children. They will do whatever it takes to protect and defend, and it's cardinal waters. So you act upon your emotions, and our emotions are the most real thing. They are what drive us. They are what drive us to take action. So I don't know where all this came from, but I felt like I needed to say that when I saw this card, because I get this card all the fucking time. And I felt this sense of kinship because I was like, I get this too. So, yeah, basically new moon in Aries, highest point of your chart, check the degrees of your midheaven. You could do this, Cancer rising. I have so much faith in you. Have a beautiful new moon. Bye. Hi, Leo rising. Happy new moon in Aries. So Aries is your 9th house, and the 9th house is originally a Sagittarius house that talks about higher learning, spirituality, traveling. And so with this new moon in Aries, there's so many themes, right? You could be thinking about traveling more, exploring more, learning about philosophy, learning about spiritual, like theological interests or different epistemologies. It's a house of mastership. It's something that you, it's not like astrology 101. It's like astrology, like master level, like really mastering something that you've learned in order for you to maybe teach, or something that will help you in your endeavors as a Leo rising. So, and it's something that it seems like you're meant to be doing because you are ruled by the sun, and the sun is exalted in Aries. So anybody with the Leo rising, I'm always like, damn, you were like God's favorite, because excuse me, Leo risings, Leo placements are usually like a significator of royalty and of somebody who's just like the sunshine always beams on them. So Aries season is a very, very auspicious time for you because your first house is in a trine to the Aries house. It's a very, very harmonious aspect. So you want to take advantage of this time, especially this new moon, because you want to check the degree of your ascendant and any Aries or Leo placements in and around 11 degrees, because I don't know, again, like I said, I feel like God picks favorites sometimes in the zodiac, and I definitely think Leo risings are one of them. You also look really regal, and I'm sure a lot of you have beautiful hair, and you look like, you know, this sunshine beaming person, or your aura's orange or golden, or people have this like inkling about you, and they just like stare at you and they can't really quite put their finger on it, but you have some kind of radiance and glow about you that even if I don't know you, I know you, because I know a couple of Leo risings and I'm just like, damn. And you're like humbly attractive. But anyway, that's enough of my fangirling, fanboying, fandemming over my fellow fire sign over here. But anyway, so for Leos and fellow fire signs, like this Aries new moon is going to be so amazing for you, especially in the 9th house, which is like, again, the Sagittarius house. It's like travel. It's like just learning things because you want to, and because you have maybe some extra time on your hands. And sorry about that. This is like springtime in the suburbs of New York, and the soundtrack is always like lawnmowers and shit. So let's see what card is going to come through for you, Leo risings. And I think because, you know, the eclipses are going to be square to your first house, there's going to be a lot of changes. I mean, there's going to be changes for all of us, but there's your axes of Taurus and Scorpio are in your 4th house of Scorpio. The South Node is a very sensitive area, and you have to release a lot of old wounding and a lot of trauma, and you have to really be willing to go deeper and look into that. And I don't know, like, this is a stereotype of Leos. So again, you might have other placements that mitigate that, but Leos don't necessarily want to go into the shadow realm. They want to be near the sun. They don't want to go down into the roots. So these next 18 months with the Scorpio Taurus axes, with the South Node being in your 4th house, you could uncover a lot of like family, ancestral trauma, wounds, secrets, but it's meant to be seen so that you could release them. And that understanding will help you shine even more in your Taurus house. If you could shine any more, that is. Okay, let's see. What is there to say about, ooh, we got 2 cards. Okay. Wow, the Chariot and the Page of Coins. This is so beautiful. The Chariot is a Cancer card, and I was just talking about this card with the Cancer group. It didn't come out for them, but I was talking about them because 7 is the number of spiritual wisdom. It's very wise. It's very independent. the Chariot is like, in the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, it's these two horses that both need to move in sync to move the Chariot. And in this deck, it's these two fish. And so it's balancing your energies, your yin, your yang, your solar and your lunar. And a new moon is when the moon and the sun come together and they form an alignment. And this is like when we have both of them balanced, is when we have all of the energy to move forward. And Cancer is a cardinal water sign. And this is you getting the energy that you need in your wings to move forward. Now, the Page of Coins is you might be studying something in order for you to move forward. So if there's an opportunity, like I said, with the 9th house, and you'll maybe get more understanding of this as you know, April rolls along, because you have a full moon in Libra in your 3rd house, which is also about learning. And this learning, whatever it is, might help you in whatever endeavor that you're trying to push forward, whether it's in love, whether it's in a career. I have a sense that it is about career, since the North Node is in your 10th house of career. Maybe it is love. I think it was a couple of months ago where I said Leo risings might not show it or might not realize it, but they do crave deep long-term relationship, and Saturn is in your 7th house of Aquarius. Whatever it is, you need to learn something about it. And it's a page, so it's like you're new to this subject. You're just getting your feet wet, and there's an opportunity there, if you choose so, dive deep in your quest for it, that'll help you with your career. Maybe you've decided like you wanted to change your careers altogether with the North Node being in Taurus, and you wanted to maybe leave your family business with the South Node in your 4th house, and you're like, well, in order for me to do the thing that I want, let's say you want to be a cook, I don't know, I'm just thinking about like Taurus things, right? Eating, or you want to be a food blogger or a mukbanger. Well, you need to learn how to take video, you need to learn how to edit, or you need to learn how to use social media, for example. These are all things that you need to like learn at a very elementary level. Even though the 9th house is mastery, it's something that you want to do for the long term, because it's the 10th house. So I hope that helped you, Leo rising. Please let me know like how this shows up for you and how it resonated for you. And I will see you at the next lunation. Bye. Hi, Virgo rising. Aries is in your 8th house. And so the 8th house, first of all, excuse me, I did a whole podcast episode, then I had lunch, and I had spicy tacos. So I'm sucking on a little caramel here. So that's why I have the thing in my mouth. But I have eaten, hydrated, and I'm all ready for you, Virgo risings. Aries is your 8th house. The 8th house is all about other people's resources, intimacy, taxes, death. It's originally a Scorpio house. So as a Virgo rising, setting intentions for the new moon with Chiron there and Mercury there, you might want to set an intention for more freedom in some way. If you have student loan debt, if you have debt of any kind, this is the house of debts. The 6th house is also debts as well. But yeah, it's interesting because the eighth house is always the most difficult house for me to articulate into words, because it is such a psychological house, but it's also the house of the occult and mysticism and shamanism and all the hidden mysteries of life. So whatever you're going through at this time, which you might be going through some kind of expansion in partnerships with Jupiter in your 7th, Neptune, you want to check your ascendant degree and your descendant degree, because Neptune might be clouding a little bit because it's opposing your 1st house. Neptune might make you not see yourself in partnerships and others, but that is all to help you see more inward, because Virgo rules the Hermit card in Tarot. The Hermit card in Tarot is all about knowing thyself truly within and taking that time out every day for daily rituals and practices and devotion, because Virgo rules the 6th house of astrology, which is all about your daily rituals that help support your day-to-day life. So that was a lot of information really quickly, just throwing out houses and signs, but really like the new moon in Aries with Chiron and Mercury there. Chiron could be, you might be with the Sun and Chiron conjunction, like privy to some old wounding of codependency, or which I don't really see Virgo risings as being codependent. But you are a mutable sign, so mutable earth sign. So Virgos, I know, are very, very good at boundaries. They're like the opposite of Pisces. So again, you want to look at your Pisces placements, specifically if they are being triggered by Jupiter, Neptune, and Venus moving in there. But the 8th house is really like, if I had Aries in the 8th house as a Virgo rising, I would set intentions to set myself free in some way, to transmute old wounds, to transmute old stories about myself. Money could be a big issue at this time, because the 2nd and 8th house axes is all about resources, money, energetic exchange, sharing resources. Intimacy, you might be getting more intimate with a partner, or maybe you're deciding to go different ways. These can show up in so many different ways, but I'm just giving you a couple of topics and ideas of how you can set intentions for the new moon in Aries. So let's see what card comes out for you, Virgo rising. And you're ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is in Aries, and so you're gonna be able to be more assertive. You're going to be able to be more direct. Queen of Cups. This is what I was kind of feeling. Queen of Cups with your 7th house being in Pisces. Notice that, so this is Yemeja. She's a Yorubian deity. And you can see how she's a mermaid, black mermaid. I love her mythology. You can see how she's holding her cup. And she's her hand is covering the cup. And Ace of Cups, cups in general, are your openness, your intuitiveness, your openness to love and experiences, but she's protecting herself. She's creating boundaries. And since Pisces is really an activated house for you right now, since Jupiter, Neptune, Venus is going to go in there, and it's your opposing sign, I think this Aries new moon is going to help you, and the Chiron in Aries, Mercury in Aries is going to help you solidify your independence of whatever that means, protecting yourself, creating boundaries, listening to your intuition, listening to your feelings, only sharing your energy with people who you resonate with. I think for you, this message was really simple. I feel like Virgo risings, wherever you are in life, you want to be free in some aspect of your life. 8th house. So I hope that helped you, Virgo rising. Happy new moon in Aries. Bye. Hi, Libra rising. This new moon is happening in your 7th house of one-on-one partnerships. One-on-one partnerships of any kind. Romantic, business, friendship. But it's that one-on-one interaction you have with somebody, and it could be contractual, since the 7th house also talks about contracts. But if you are a single Libran rising and you are calling in a partnership, this is a fabulous new moon to call that in. And also, if you are a Libra rising who is calling in more commitment with your person that you're seeing, this is also a good time to assert yourself. Mercury in Aries is an energy of being very direct. Chiron in Aries is being vulnerable about your feelings. Libra, you're ruled by Venus, and Venus is going to make her way into Pisces in your 6th house. So you're going to be supported in your day-to-day rituals, your day-to-day habits and routines. But I would say that if you are a Libra rising, because you are another cardinal sign, you are a cardinal air sign, communication is key for you. And also, if you want something and if you want things to happen, you have to say it and you have to communicate it. Especially if it deals with a partnership of some kind. Because Mercury there is like asking you to be very direct, very assertive, and very honest. So let's see what card comes out for you, Libra rising. The Chariot, exactly. Be honest with your feelings and communicate and move forward. This is like, this came out for another group. Now I don't remember, but this is the Cancer card. It's number 7. 7 is a very intellectual, smart, spiritual, wisdom-seeking, truth-seeking energy. This is the Chariot, which is ruled by Cancer. And the two fish go forward in tandem with full force, moving the Chariot. So this is all about partnership. And if you want something to happen, you must take action by communicating your feelings, being honest with your feelings. And I'm trying to think, like Librans, no matter if you're a sun, moon, or rising, or stelliums, I have a Libra stellium, is you always take the other person into consideration. Libra is the archetype of the scales, justice, the Justice card in tarot. And so when you're in a partnership, you think about you and then you think about the other person, and it has to be balanced, right? So if you also feel like your partner, your friend, your business partner is not pulling the weight, this is your time. You don't have to do it on the new moon, but maybe you set an intention to ask for guidance, for clear communication. Actually, my friend who's a Virgo rising, but she has a Libra moon, is looking at nonviolent communication courses because she wants to be more like considerate of her communication. I feel like we can all benefit from a course like that. And I think that is key, like not only articulating your feelings and communicating them, but being able to do so in a non-violent way and non-aggressive way. Not that Libra placements are like that. I feel like Libras are usually really good with words. You're an air sign. But I think the keys here is being honest with your feelings, communication, being vulnerable, and asking for what you want. I mean, the message is very clear. So I hope you have a beautiful new moon in Aries, and then the next lunation is a full moon in your 1st house. So I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye! Hello, Scorpio risings. You are having the new moon in Aries in your 6th house of daily activities, habits, routines, health, coworkers, pets. So if you wanted to set an intention to call in your soul pet or work well with your coworkers, new work possibly, new job, healthy fitness routine, because it's an Aries house, you might be getting into more cardio or like athletic endeavors. These are basically activities that help support your day-to-day life. You are ruled by Mars and Pluto, and Mars currently is in Aquarius, which is in your 4th house of home and family, roots, ancestors. And you are ruled by Pluto, which is currently in your 3rd house of communication, social media, friendship, and siblings. So what does this mean? You are another fixed sign, which is going through a massive, or maybe not massive, you're definitely going through a rebranding, Scorpio rising, because the South Node is also transiting your first house. So I think this new intention in Aries could be very useful for you, cultivating daily habits, rituals. If you want to like think about what is Aries? Aries is ruled by Mars, and you co-rule Mars. Mars is the planet of like physical fitness. Maybe you're into like literal boxing of some kind, just to let the energy out. But this is basically a great preview for you to help you cultivate daily practices to help you for the 18 months, and especially during eclipse season, because the first eclipse is happening, solar eclipse, on April 30th in your 7th house, and then we're going to have another one during Taurus season in your 1st house. So let's see what card comes out for you. Aries is also like a solo thing. So maybe you're thinking about doing something by yourself, you know? 8 of Cups. Yeah, leaving something behind. I actually got this in my reading this morning, and I think it's just a general collective message because I'm doing this reading right a couple of days before the new moon in Aries. So it's the balsamic phase. It's the letting go, it's the shedding. And the thing with the 8 of Cups is emotion, it's feeling. It's also like the ability to tap into your deep desires and passions. It's like something that, it's something sometimes, you know, subconscious. You're not always aware of it unless you really pay attention. And there's 8 of them. 8 is the number of power. 8 is actually ruled by Saturn. So you see here, this figure has all of these 8 cups lined up, and they are leaving. And there is actually a crescent moon there. So this card talks about leaving something behind for a more spiritual understanding, more, it's kind of like when I left my corporate job, I was making a lot of money at the time. I had a great apartment in Tribeca. I had like everything that you would think you would need for security's sake. And I had all my 8 of Cups. But I left all of that behind for a more fulfilling, a more soul-connected experience. And that is necessary because the next card is the 9 of Cups, which is a wish fulfillment. And so for you, whatever this is, I mean, the South Node is transiting your 1st house. You need to leave something behind in order to call in the new thing. The new moon in Aries is calling in the new thing. But in the meantime, at the same time, you have to let go. And if you watch the beginning of this video, I said, you're going to be seduced to the comforts of the past. And you're a fixed water sign. Which, I mean, I have Jupiter in Scorpio and 2 placements in Aquarius. So I have some fixed energy, which is a good thing because you need to be fixed in certain instances. But when it comes to having a fixed sign in the angular houses, which are major houses of like support, I mean, it's the Grand Cross, right? In a chart. This is why I think a new moon in your 6th house, cultivating daily habits, daily activities to help you let that go. So for example, I had my South Node for the last 18 months in my 1st house as well. And while physically in the material realm, it was quite challenging, what I gained spiritually was above and beyond, like more meaningful to me than what I could ever acquire outside of myself. It was a time of deep introspection, deep understanding who I am at a soul level. And, you know, I think there's a misconception about the South Node that you just like release and lose everything. And that's not necessarily the case. It's about integration. It's about integrating past experiences, but being ready to detach yourself from certain stories that you've held on to. And as you know, like I am going to obviously talk more about the South Node in Scorpio and the North Node in Taurus, and you know, throughout the next 18 months. But I think it's important to understand that you're in this like cosmic dimension right now where there's so much potential and so many opportunities. And the key for this time is to surrender, 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 surrender. And I think that's the whole point of it, is that you're not going to know what's going to happen. You're not necessarily even knowing all of the astrology that I knew and all of the therapy and healing that I was doing. There was nothing that could have prepared me more than to surrender and believe in a greater power. And look what's at the bottom of the deck, the 10 of Cups, the happiness card, that everything is going to work out in the end. So I hope that helped you, Scorpio rising. Remember to cultivate healthy rituals and rituals that will help you move through this next 18 months. Bye. Hello, Sag risings. Well, I've been saying this to all of the fire signs, so don't tell the other don't tell the other elements, but April is going to be quite the month in terms of shifts and changes. But if there's any element that is going to enjoy, I would say this, Aries season is going to be great for the fire signs, but if there's any sign that is going to have the best of times, and again, I'm generalizing because not all Sag risings will have the placements in which to support this, but Sagittarius, I think, is going to have one of the best months in April because Aries is a fellow fire sign, and the 5th house is trine to our ascendant. So just to like give you a preview of all the amazing things to come, Venus and Jupiter are going to be in the 4th house, which is deep psychological roots and stability and family. And that's just going to be so supportive because when you have that root system, that support with the 2 benefics, it's just gonna allow like all of the energy to channel up to the rest of the chart. And I'm super, super excited about this. If I could, I would do just a separate like hour-long video for Sagittarius risings because I'm like, I mean, it's been a couple of rough years personally for me, being a Sag rising and having the nodal return in Capricorn and Cancer, and then the South Node in Sagittarius, and then having the Capricorn cluster all of 2020 to 2021 in the 2nd house. It's been a ride. So I think that me boasting to you about all the amazing things that are coming up on the docket, I'm so excited. And Jupiter is going to be in Aries in May. And again, that's very supportive for Sagittarius risings, especially if you have any placements in Sagittarius, like your ascendant around, I think Jupiter is going to go until 8 or 9 degrees, I think, before it goes back into Pisces. So this new moon in Aries is happening in the 5th house, which is like the house of joy, pleasure, fun, romance. It's like the best fun house of the entire zodiacal wheel. And Aries is a fellow fire sign, so it's very supportive of Sagittarius energy. So this new moon, you might set intentions for more creativity, more passion, a new romance. Children, if you're looking to have children. There's like not enough good things I can say about this. That I'm just gonna go pick a card for us. So let's see, what do you have for us Sagittarius risings? And if you're a fellow Sagittarius rising, let me know how this year has been coming along for you, because I like to hear from fellow Sagittarius risings. Every Sagittarius rising I know has felt the same kind of tumultuous nature especially the outer planets. Oh, Lord. Okay, what do you have to say for Sag risings on this new moon in Aries? Ah! Oh my gosh, Page of Wands. This is exactly the kind of energy I was feeling. It's like fresh energy, fresh vision, fresh, like, excited energy, passion, romance, desire, getting out there. You know, I am an extroverted person. I'm an ENFP, so I'm highly extroverted. And how you know is if you get energy by being around people or if you get drained by a lot of people. It has nothing to do with being shy or not. It has more to do with if you gain energy from being around a lot of people or not. And you can also look that up in your Myers-Briggs personality type. So I have always been super extroverted. I always have been the life of the party. I mean, I'm also an Aries, so I have a lot of fire and air. I like to be around people. But during the panorama, like the last 3 years, I've been the most introverted I've ever been. And it's mostly because of all the astrological placements. We were in the middle of a panini. I haven't been able to do most Sagittarius things like traveling and romantic endeavors. You know, it's been pretty Saturnian. It's been pretty cold. And my friend asked me to go out into the city on Friday night. And she was like, you know, I know that you go to bed early now and you don't drink and you don't like really party. I was like, yes, sign me up. This is this energy. It's like fresh energy. It's excitement. It's going dancing. It's putting on a hot outfit. It's like meeting new people. Page of Wands is like, it's our energy. It's Sagittarius energy. I mean, you could argue that it's any of the suits of fire, but what I feel for Sag risings after a long winter, after a long time of Saturn rolling through our pretty intense houses, especially with the South Node transiting our first house, is that you're just ready to get out there and you're ready to have fun. And I think that's something that you should be doing, especially with the new moon in your 5th house. Like, and the minute I said yes, then I was like, oh my God, like, I don't want to stay out too late. Because I haven't literally been out since 2019. But I was like, you know what? This is exactly the thing I need to change my energy for calling in the fun and the pleasure that I want to call in. And what better day to do it than on the new moon on Friday? So if no one has asked you, create that invitation for yourself. The Page of Wands could also talk about a message, a text message, an email. I know that's kind of also Page of Swords energy, but I'm just feeling like unexpected, serendipitous events that are just, you know, because we're less than 1 month away from the eclipse, which you feel it 1 month before. So anyway, she's dancing. She's having a good time, and I feel like we all deserve to have joy, even in midst. If you can get out there. I don't know where you are all over the world, but here in New York, it's almost like the panorama is over. And I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but be safe, take care of yourself, stay healthy, and I will see you at the full moon in Libra. Bye! Hi, Capricorn rising. If you watched the beginning of the video, I explained how I was studying Saturn, and you are ruled by Saturn. So I wanted to do a deep dive into Saturn because I felt like I only hear the bad stuff about Saturn, like the maleficness of Saturn and how Saturn's just like a cramp in my style. And as a Sag rising, as being Jupiterian in nature, I really wanted to understand the benefits of Saturn, and because I have an exalted Saturn in my chart. So like, what what parts of Saturn can I work with and how to understand Saturn better. And I feel like as a Capricorn rising, you are ruled by Saturn, you understand how to work with Saturn in a way because it's just ingrained in your embodiment. And so this new moon, talking about the new moon, get back on track, Laura, is happening in your 4th house of roots, family, ancestry. Your IC might be in that house. It's something that is a very internal and very private area of your life, which is interesting because Aries is like usually like you break away from your family or you start something new, and that might be the case. A lot of Capricorn risings might be the type of people that, you know, do something differently than their family did, or they're kind of like seen as the leader of their family, whether appointed or not. Like, people look to you for advice, people look to you for some kind of you're seen as some kind of authority on a subject matter. So anyway, new moon intentions for the Aries new moon on your 4th house could be maybe you want to start a family, maybe you want to move homes or start a new business venture in your home, because Aries is a very independent entrepreneurial sign, and the 4th house being your home, maybe you want to start your own business at home. It could be connecting to your ancestry or roots, you know, because Saturn rules tradition and time and elders. So, which could be very supportive because Libra is your 10th house, which is your career. And Libra is obviously ruled by Venus and, oh, excuse me. And yeah, you might be really interested in like design, aesthetics, home design, especially if you have placements in Libra. So anyway, I'm going off in a tangent just to give you some ideas of how this could manifest or what you can use this new moon for. So let's see what card comes out for you. I feel really just tuning into your energy, like you need to take a deep breath. So let's just do that now. Take a deep inhale through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. Okay. I know you're going through it because Pluto is transiting your 1st house. That can't be easy. Ooh. Ooh, excuse me. So we have the Magician. And I was just going to say that, Chiron and Aries might be squaring your ascendant or any Capricorn placements you have, and that's not easy. So look at the degree points. I think Chiron is at 11 degrees of your ascendant sign, and if it's making any aspects, because Aries and Capricorn square each other. So this is a more difficult configuration, but squares manifest something, and you got the Magician. And I think you're the only group that got oh no, another group got the Death, but the two of you have only gotten the major arcanas, and this is big. Mercury rules the Magician, and the Magician is all about being able to have everything that he, she, they need within them to manifest their desires. They are the alchemists. They are the magicians. And I love this because she is Cinderella, I think, with the 3 little mice. Let me look this up. And by the way, I'm using the Tarot of the Divine deck. I forgot to introduce that at the beginning, but I got it for my birthday from one of my Moon Circle members. Thank you, Ina. Okay, let's see. Okay, the Fairy Godmother. French fairy tale. The magician is a helping hand. She has the ability to change raw materials into something wonderful and dreaming into doing, but she is only the helping hand. It is up to the protagonist to use her support moving forward to do the right thing. Upright, originality, self-confidence, skill, a breakthrough, resourcefulness. I love that. Yeah, so just like it said, the fairy godmother is here to give you a helping hand, but ultimately you have to take the reins. So, ooh, excuse me, itchy nose. So whatever it is in your life that you want to set new intentions for, there's so much potential here. If you didn't watch the beginning of this video, the intro, I highly recommend you do that because I go through what this Aries new moon entails. But having the magician for a new moon in Aries is super auspicious. Yay! Happy new moon, Capricorn rising. Aquarius rising, let's do this. So Aries is your third house. It's the house of communication, social media, writing, learning, siblings, your like little inner circle community. And this is a beautiful new moon to set intentions. If you ever wanted to write a blog, a book, if you ever wanted to learn something or teach something, reconnect with your siblings, your neighbors, your community, old friends. If you wanted to start a social media. But in the sign of Aries, Aries is a very like leader, initiatory, like independent sign. So this is something that is possibly a solo endeavor, even though it's a third house. But you are seen as the leader of some kind in this area. Some kind of authority in this area. And as Aquarius risings, I would assume it has something to do with media or the internet or like a podcast. This is a great house for podcasting. So let's see what the card has to say. Oops, okay, you got two. The Sun and the Ten of Cups. Holy shit. This is like the most happy, I think this is the most happy cards that I've gotten from any group. Besides Capricorn rising got the Magician. Like, wow. Wow, wow, wow. I don't even have words. Wow. So the Sun is obviously ruled by Leo, or maybe you don't know that. The Sun card is ruled by Leo, which is your 7th house. The Sun is obviously, it's the number 19 too, 19 as well. The Sun is like happiness. It's like vital life force energy. It's children. It's childlike abandon. It's joy. It's pleasure. It's literally like beaming your light out. And like I was saying, like if you had any hope or wishes around being some kind of writer or authority on a topic, wanting to start a podcast, this is a very auspicious sign that you would be successful at it, that people would know you, you would get some kind of notoriety from it. Then the 10 of Cups, holy shit. This is like family, this is children. Again, the 3rd house isn't necessarily about children, but if you have sights on that, like this is a very, very good sign that it's possible. The 10 of Cups is like not only a wish fulfillment, but it's like I've made it. All of my wishes and desires at every level of my life is happening. So I feel like this is the shortest reading out of all the groups, but like what else? And when I said that was 333. What else can I say? But you got the Sun and the 10 of Cups. So set your intentions high, Aquarius rising, because damn, like it's very auspicious. And if you didn't watch the beginning of this video where I talk about the auspiciousness of this new moon in Aries, like please do so, because this is such a huge potential moment for you. So good luck and let me know. Bye. Hi, Pisces rising. Okay, I feel the need to touch my hair. Oh, which means, you know, hair is very, like, it's a power symbol for women. Hair holds our memories. You have Jupiter in your 1st house, Neptune. You have, you're going to have Venus there soon in April, I think 5th. So you might be feeling very expansive at this time. You might be feeling like with your ruler in your first house that you are just expanding, okay? Aries rules your second house of resources, confidence, of, excuse me, value, of money. Oh, my nose is so itchy. Ah, my nose started itching during Capricorn rising. Okay, so this is a great time, this new moon in Aries, to set your intentions on if you want to build more confidence, if you want to make more money, if you want to call in more resources, have financial independence, because Aries is an independent sign. It's a very like, I'm going to do it on my own entrepreneurial sign. So let's see what card comes out for you. Oh my God, I don't know what just happened between Capricorn and Pisces, but my nose has been itching and I've just been like, oh my God. The first couple of signs that I was doing up until I would say Capricorn, so basically all of the signs were super intense, and then it's been getting lighter and lighter, and I'm just like, what's been going on here? Okay. Card for Pisces rising, new moon in the second house. This is a great house to do like money rituals. And you know what they say, like self-worth equals your net worth. When you can build more confidence in yourself is when you attract more money to you. All right, so what can you say? Okay. Seven of Wands. This is a Leo card. It's about defending your honor. It's about having the courage to keep going. So the Seven of Wands comes after the Six of Wands, when you've come from a victory. It's when you've been recognized, when you've been praised in some way. And the Seven of Wands is this need to feel like, I need to defend all this competition around me, and I need to defend in what I believe in, what I stand for. And what that means maybe for, you know, Aries season and all the planets moving into Aries is like, maybe after all of the amazing planets in your first house moving away now, you know, you'll still have Jupiter there until May, but when it comes to matters of finances and actual taking action, that might not be your strong suit. And because Chiron's there too, and Mercury, and Mercury and Pisces is in its detriment, because Jupiter rules the signs of Sagittarius and Pisces, and the opposite signs are Gemini and Virgo, which are ruled by Mercury. So when it comes to matters of finances, when it comes to matters of fighting for yourself, defending yourself, that you might not be as like comfortable with, versed in, right? Because Leo is all about like shining your light brightly and being confident in yourself. And so maybe you feel this need like, I'm really good at Piscean things. I'm really good at dreaming. I'm really good at like disassociating and like going into a different dimension and art and music. But when it comes to fighting for yourself and creating boundaries and like this is, and advocating for yourself, like this is what I want, you might not be as strong. So maybe the new moon in Aries is like, and the page of coins is at the bottom of the deck. In order for you to get what you deserve, you have to advocate for yourself. This is like an advocation card. Like, is that a word? Advocate for yourself. Stand up for yourself. Ask for that raise. Ask for what you're worth. You know, Aries is a very confident sign. In your second house, Chiron being there might be like the sun shining the light on the wounds of Chiron, being like, this is a chance with Mercury to speak up for yourself and to ask for what you're worth. If you didn't watch the beginning of the video, you might want to, because Chiron in the second house is going to bring up wounding around insecurity around advocating for yourself, having agency for yourself. So I hope that helped, Pisces rising. I hope you have a beautiful new moon in Aries, and I will see you at the next Moonation.